Welcome to the Local Farmer Podcast, where we invite you to join us on our farming journey. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or you're just getting started, we are here to learn and grow together. Our goal is to help encourage, inspire, and equip the local farmer. So let's grab our boots and let's dig in. All right, hey, welcome to this week's episode. We are the Local Farmer Podcast. I am Brandon.
I'm John.
And John, I like how you're always surprised when I say I am Brandon. Like you forget that.
I do, actually.
True confessions. I like that. Well, hey, welcome to this week's episode where we're just going to simply have some conversations. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to have some story time conversations and hopefully have a great podcast turn out from it. But hey, before we dig right in, we just want to encourage you, hey, please like and subscribe to all of our platforms. John, what platforms are we on again?
We're on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook anymore, but get on there. You've still got an account. Don't even act like you don't. So get on there and like us.
If you're listening or watching this, you've got a Facebook account.
Yeah.
I've got a I wasn't going to set us up with a Facebook account, but I had to set us up with one, like because of something that, we use or whatever. So, hey, boost that. Help us out, you know. Same thing with Instagram. Why is it important to be on our socials again? Not only to see, like, updated stuff, but, like, we plan on doing some giveaways, right?
We're going to do some giveaways.
Yeah.
There'll be information on there, stories of our, personal stories. They're a lot easier to put on Facebook, just throw something on there, or Instagram, whereas YouTube's more of a this. So
yeah.
Yeah,
so we'll be putting some other information on there that we don't really necessarily have time to talk about or
absolutely,
or even talk about. But yeah, go on there, like, subscribe, share all of that.
Yeah, you can stalk us on Facebook.
You can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, give us a little bit of update. Like what have we been doing on the property? Like tell me, let's share with our people, but also where are we at? Like give me some update.
So we're into May.
Okay.
We've got everything cleaned up. We get down the driveway now. Sorta.
Kind of. You say that because, so our driveway, like getting into the driveway is they've been paving for years.
Yeah, I need to call the county today.
You need to figure that out, but see if they'll take care of that for us. But because they paved so much, it's created this drop off before you get in. And you could see over the years of where the road, how they paved it, have just created these layers upon layers.
And the way the driveway comes out, and I drive a 4-wheel drive dually, and I put it in 4-wheel drive just to get out of the driveway on a dry day.
Yeah.
But it's not the driveway washed out. It's that road where the driveway comes to the road. It's like, it's good to the road, but then they've paved and that ledge, I mean, it's like rolling over a 3-foot curb, to get out. I mean, it's like twisting the truck, and it's crazy. But anyway,
I can't close the gate. I had to take
did you
a
hear
running.
that?
Yeah, I did. I have to keep the gate open and take a running start to get out. And that's if I even
you just Dukes a hazard out of it,
bro. That's even if I go in. Like I normally park and have to walk in, and. So the other day, this is still in the story of like us cleaning up the property. The other day, I had to, because I had to get it there because I had to get our pig feed out on property. I had 10 bags of pig feed. And dude, I'm telling you, the movie I'm thinking of is like Little Rascals. And like they're walking around with like a wagon. I have this little wagon. That I put, the first one I put 5 bags, 50-pound bags, 5 50-pound bags in this wagon, taking it down. And it's not a short driveway.
No, it's not.
And it's not a paved driveway, and it had just rained. So, just imagine me fighting with I mean, 250 pounds worth of feed on this wagon that is like the cheapest wagon in the world, going down, getting stuck in mud, and like getting so frustrated. I text you.
I could tell your frustration from your text.
Yeah, I text you and I said, bro, we gotta put this on a priority list. We gotta figure this out.
Driveway's got to be on priority. That's what it said. And I was like,
yes.
oh, he's aggravated.
So I finally get the 5 bags, and I go back to get the other 5 bags, and where the tipping point was literally a tipping point. That drop off, I tried to take it wrong, and the whole like they just tilted over and they just dumped out, and I said, I'm done. I pulled my car around to it and then put it in the car and then drove off. But yeah, that driveway is no joke. But
we actually looked at doing a different driveway off the get go, and it hadn't rained in 3 or 4 days. We were going to bring a new driveway kind of in right off the road through that field a little bit on the other side of the tree line, and I was in 4-wheel drive and had that trailer with the tractor on it. It just started pushing me, and it hadn't rained in days, so we're like, that ain't going to work.
And we didn't even know if that entry point was fully our property or not, so we didn't want to get into a situation there. So I think, cutting if the county, city won't do anything about it, I'm wondering if cutting that, what's kind of bled into it, cutting that to get that just a straight edge, and then doing some work to kind of build that up.
I don't know. Let's see what they say first.
We'll see, and hopefully,
because it's. I mean, like I said, the driveway's been there for forever,
but
since
it's their
the 40s, and it's a good driveway. You don't have ruts or nothing. Got a good base. Yeah, and it's their fault. They just built up and
yeah.
They probably knew that there wasn't anybody living in the house, and so they didn't consider that. But yet, still, it's a property, so that he pays tax on. So, anyway, we'll see how that goes.
It's not even the drop off to get in; it's actually like hard to get out of the driveway, and we can't do any gravel work until we get that.
Yeah, and you can't.
And the gravel's there.
Yeah, but even if you brought gravel in and built up the driveway, you can't really build with gravel. So you'd have to come in and literally build with clay and then re-gravel over top of that to make, on our end, to make it better. So, we'll see how that goes. Superintendent, he's pretty cool. So,
all right.
We'll see. We'll put a call in. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're there. We got the pigs on property.
Yep.
We're still doing bush hogging, maintenance, property maintenance at the moment, trying to keep up with the grass that's growing. We talked about that in the soil episode, that we're going to chop mow the grass so it's chopped up and going back, putting back down in the soil. And we'll just maintain that as much as we can until it's time to put fence up. I mean, we're good to put fence up as soon as we both have the time and the cashola to put it down. You've got some trips planned. We just had a trip, and we've got another trip coming up as well. So June's a pretty busy month. So hopefully the end of June, 1st July, I know it's going to be hot. But
I'm in and out of June. But when we get into July and August.
Dog days.
The dog days, But I will say, too, I mean, I just say we just go out and purchase cows, and that gives us the crunch time.
No, we're not.
We ain't doing that. But
although I have been looking, and I'm like, oh, look at that.
Bro, I will say, and this is just it ain't a good time to buy cows, period.
No, we don't need to be in a rush because they're high.
They're high, and, one thing, on our last episode, we talked about pigs and, like, where we're at with that and, like, why we decided to do that. Well, one of the reasons, too, is to bring in a profit as well.
Yeah.
And we're not going to wait until we start bringing in a profit off the pigs to be able to use that money to buy cows. That would, in an ideal world, that'd be great. But we've talked multiple times just about our lease, our time frame that we have to work with, and we'll get that money. We'll get the money back. It's just not waiting for it to be the reason to.
Yeah, we want to get some kind of ball rolling. I mean,
Yeah.
We don't have to have the cart full before we get it going. So.
Well, it's hard to say, too, like you're farming a piece of property when you're not doing anything. And I know we're doing stuff. I know, I get it. I totally understand that. But I know, and our goal.
Yeah.
And we want to get to closer and closer to the goal. of being there, doing what we wanted to do, and we knew it was going to be a time frame prep to do that, and cutting grass to figuring out what's even on the property grass wise, all of that stuff that has taken time is ultimately going to be something that is going to benefit us in the long run. But us out there the other day just sitting on tractors mowing grass. I will say, are you an introvert or a are you an introvert?
No.
You're not an introvert,
No.
right? So I'm not an introvert either, but did that not bother you? Like just driving around mowing grass, like that took a long time, and I was getting stir crazy.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to any music too, so I was letting
you left your earbuds on.
So I was letting the mind monsters get a hold of me. I'm like,
I was having good. Didn't you see me? I was standing up. I was doing footloose on my
I
tractor.
thought you were standing up because we were out there so long. Your butt was like.
That was happening, dude. I mean, it was.
I will say, nothing like gives you a good check like getting stuck in a tractor, and you're just like, man, I got stuck. Can you?
You did get stuck. I looked over there and you went to one spot, and I was like, man, he's gonna get stuck. And then I was like, we're gonna let him do it, And so, so I turned around and come back down, and you'd gotten out.
I got out.
It's a good deal. Well, he's learned his lesson now. No, you didn't.
Okay, but did you notice it wasn't the same area? It was farther over. I was trying to
about 10 feet over, maybe 20.
Yeah, you're funny. But you know what? We got out and we got. Honestly,
we did. It wasn't bad.
I think that it takes a long time. To cut the grass and to cut it down. But I felt like we got a lot accomplished, even though like. You get home and your wife's like, "Oh yeah, I saw the picture. Like, look like you guys didn't do much." And it's like, "Are you kidding me?" And she's like, "You just sat on a tractor. Like it wasn't hard." I'm like, "It's exhausting." Hey, funny story about that is, she makes that comment. I'm sure your wife has made comments like that before, where like you just had to sit there and like, how is that exhausting? My wife told me just yesterday. We were at home just doing nothing. She's like, I'm so tired just doing nothing. And like, I'm like, yeah, you're tired of you're used to doing something. So you know whatever. Like,
yeah, it's like something inside you keeps you driving if you're
right.
doing something. But you were probably worn out a little bit more due to the fact that tractor you're on is hydrostatic. So you got to hold that pedal. It don't have a cruise or nothing.
I didn't
on
like
it, so
that. I didn't like that. Like,
it's not a very good It's great bush hogging because you can forward, back, do whatever, move around, turn.
But when you're not paying attention, your foot's got off a little bit, and you don't know that you're not going as fast as you really can go, and you're just like, oh, I could go faster. What am I doing?
Yeah. Where mine was, you put that sucker in gear, let off the clutch, and rock on. But so that was nice on that one. But that one I was running was that antique tractor.
I like that.
1955 John Deere 40.
Sounds beautiful.
And people are like, do you put it in shows? I said, no, I use it. And I don't beat on it. I take care of it, keep it cool looking, but it's not fully restored. But I think it's either been in real good shape or somebody restored it a long time ago.
It's pretty, and it sounds good. I love the sound of it. Goodness.
Yeah. But it's nice and hot, It's like the heat coming off the tractor.
But it was a good day to do what we were doing. It wasn't crazy hot.
It was good.
It was a good day to get out there
and
do that.
I think we got a swap because that old tractor just didn't have the power for that finish mower. Mm-hmm. It bogged down quite a bit, so we had to watch out for that. But either way, we'll get it figured out. I went back over later. You weren't available, and I went over there and cleared the creek out. What I tried to do was clear the edges of the property. We can always mow the inside, but sometimes it gets hard to get to those creek lines, fence lines, things like that, because you get a lot of hard. So I wanted to make sure and get that cut out and kind of see what we got, if nothing else. And I did that, and I mowed some, but I got all the way around the property.
I saw that. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I like it.
I had the wife come over that day. I said, do you need to come over here? And we rode back down by the creek, and she was I don't know if you may not have got time to get down there, but the creek's bigger than I thought. It had more water.
No, it's definitely bigger. I need to go down there and fish because my son
I don't know if
keeps.
there's fish down in the. Go to the pond. There's fish in the pond.
Oh, you're talking about the creek. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pond. Oh, you're talking about the creek is bigger.
Yeah.
I need to go. You know why I haven't gone down there?
It's beautiful down there, and it's nice and cool.
It's because every time I step down there, my foot goes all the way to
know.
the soil.
Well, if you follow my mow paths, like that was the most time consuming. Is I would go and I'm like headed over to the creek and I start to sink. I have to back up and try to find a different hole to get around. I mean, like we've talked about, the property holds water in places. It's always, this is in the bottom, so it's always been wet down there since I can remember. So, but worse now than it used to be. But had to be very careful. But it had been dry, so I was like, I need to get down there and do that and cut some of that out.
Well, we're gonna do. This summer's gonna be hot, so maybe in August, we're just gonna go out there and camp. Me and my son, we're gonna go down there. We're gonna walk the creek line, like just have some fun. We got the tree line right there. We got some of that property up there, so kind of just explore.
Yeah.
So I haven't been down there just yet. But
well, in order to save us some money too, though, when I was clearing down there, the neighbor across the creek has a lot of fence line all the way down through there. I'm gonna get, and I know him. I've known him for years. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I'm gonna get a hold of him and see if we can fence to his fence.
That's
and
perfect.
that save us from having to run a fence line
And
down
time.
there. A lot of time, a lot of money.
Yeah.
If we can, I'll tell him, hey, we'll take care of, we'll keep an eye on your fence too. Keep it fixed.
Yeah. But they would have to wander pretty far to get to that, though.
Yeah.
Like, right. Like they would
yeah.
have to,
But it's, like I said, we may eventually do ours. But if that'll work, that'd be awesome too. Working with the neighbors.
Yeah. I was trying to think. Yeah, my wife's a little upset. You've mowed over all of those white flowers.
Oh gosh.
Those white flowers are something.
Yeah, but nothing eats those.
I get that. You're thinking of selfishly right now, but my wife had in mind, she's like, oh, I can do all this stuff. Number one, who's picking all those things? That's the first question, because you already know who it is. So, whoops. Oh, John mowed over them.
You were out there. You said your little girl was picking them. I said, tell her to pick them all.
Yeah, I know. I get that, but so she's got a list running of things that you've done wrong.
Yeah, put them in a book.
Yeah. Well, I will say, we were out there Saturday, and some things are blooming. How with the iPhone I showed you this, you could take a picture of something, scroll up, and it'll tell you what it is. Mm-hmm. It's not always accurate. I have learned this. But there's some rose bushes, like a lot of them.
Oh, right off going.
Yeah, going down there. Like I was like, what are these pretty pink flowers?
Now, see, she should. I purposely didn't bush hog those the other day. I bush hogged around them, and I purposely didn't mow them down. Tell her, give me some credit.
Yeah. Goodness.
They did. They're all pretty.
They're very pretty, yeah. I mean, there's some other bushes down there that she's like, I think these are different. And, she said what they were. I don't get that stuff. But, yeah. So, yeah. That's what. So
y'all went Saturday?
Yeah.
Y'all went to, I thought y'all went to the Ark Saturday.
We did. No, we did. We on the way back. So we went to Cincinnati, had a great time there, Cincinnati Zoo. And then, which, dude, we've been to a lot of zoos. Been to Hawaii. We've been to Atlanta. We've been to Michigan. We've been to all these different type of zoos and stuff like that all around. And Cincinnati Zoo is up there, bro. Like I would say, actually, is my favorite at this point.
Really?
Yes, really, really like it. So yeah, we did that. Then we went to a Reds game, and I mean, okay. I'm gonna stop for a second because I know you guys heard that. You heard it. Oh, if this is your first episode watching with us, John, what was that sound that we just heard?
Oh, the fly landed on the microphone. Oh man,
we're being invaded by flies here, and we talked about that on a previous episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to. They can. I get it. We gotta have flies to do the thing, but we combat them, try to keep them at bay. But not in my garage. This is ridiculous. But we still got the rabbit in here, so
I know.
If anybody wants a rabbit, I think she said she wanted rid of that one. It's a huge white rabbit.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like I couldn't go without saying something about it because all you heard was. But yeah, we went to a Reds game, and you put me in a sporting outing or whatever. Like I'm not like into baseball. I mean, I played baseball growing up, all that stuff, but like just when I was younger, and this Goodness. Um, you. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. My son really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. My got me on my nose.
We're not in a studio, people. I mean,
No,
we're not.
this is out there. But a lot of fun. Fireworks. I went to the Ark and just had a lot of fun. But yeah, we came home and we just checked the feed and just made sure the water was good and which it was. But the kids went out there, saw what
They're
you were
loving
doing.
it, aren't they?
Dude, they love going out there. They absolutely do. We need to make.
I'm going to take some time. Like I started to the other day when I was doing that bush hogging, but just, you know, part of leasing a property too is we want to beautify the property.
Yep.
We're just like that.
Yep.
Like I've noticed me and you are the same in that. Like we if we do something, we do it all the way and we do it well and we want it to look good. We could go in there with the mindset of we don't care about that property other than what we're using for field, what we're using, but the areas that we're working. I think it says a lot to go a little further and just, like we're talking about beautify the property. I mean, you're allowed to use it. So if you could take your kids there and fish in the pond or whatever, I mean, we'll clean up around the pond. We'll weed eat to the pond. We'll make it look good. And that's also good for the owner too, because what we want to do is eventually, if this thing grows, we want to lease other properties.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have property like you're like, hey, I own this 100 acres or 20 acres or 500 acres, whatever it is, and I don't farm it, but should I sell it or because I'm not using it or whatever? I mean, I want people to say, hey, we want John and Brandon to come over and manage our property and run some cattle on it or some lambs or whatever it is, because man, they really take care of the property and they make it look good.
Well, when it's
a win-win that way.
I look at it as our property, and
I do too.
And I've even said that, like our property, and that's the way I'm viewing it. It is ours for 5 years.
Well, and I think, and it's ours. Obviously, we're not kicking them off of it. It's their property. They own it. They can come in and do what they want. But we just have an agreement so that we have access and use of it. But, I mean, that's just the way I was brought up too. I mean, you see a lot of people out here and well, it's a hotel or it's a restaurant. They can clean up after me, or it's a rental car. I'll beat on it, I just never been like that. And in fact, a lot of times me and my wife both, we try to teach our kids, like, stack your plates up and put your trash in the plates at the restaurant. Cause that way they just come get the waiter's going to come get it, but they just come get the plate. They don't have to clean up a huge mess. But same thing with the rental car. I mean, when we go to Florida, a lot of times where we can't take a full week, we have to fly in to have a decent vacation. So we'll fly in and rent a car and, we don't trash it. So same thing with these properties. I mean, we want to take care of them, make them look good. Owners are happy. We're happy, and because we want an extension at that 5-year mark.
That's right. And two, like, we're out there.
Yeah.
We're out there. So we want to make sure that, like, I'm an aesthetic guy. So, like, I like going out there and seeing something. Like, I even thought the other day, I was somewhere and I was like, I'm going to pick up some just flower seeds and just and throw them just to beautify whatever. Even putting a dock in, I even thought about that, of just like, if I had time, like I would put a dock in.
I've built one here. We're not doing that.
Okay. Okay.
But I know what you're saying. It'd be really nice.
No, it's fine, John. You don't want to do it.
I can't wait till we get my wife on here one day, because she can tell you how I threw her in the pond when we were building our dock. I did not throw her in the pond.
Okay, was that flirty? Like, what do you mean?
No, we were on a paddle boat trying to set these columns, and we're both standing on the nose of the paddle boat. Mm-hmm. And I've got a sledgehammer, and she's holding this column, and I'm driving, and her family's from up north, so 2 weeks out of the summer, we always get our niece and nephew down. And so our niece was in the back of the little literally a paddle boat. You sit down and paddle with your feet. And we're standing in the front of this thing. Well, it's tipped up because our weight's on the front edge. And then as soon as water crested over the edge, you knew it was going, know? And I'm thinking, well, crap. So my wife just jumped off in the pond because my niece was screaming. We're going down, and she jumped off in the pond, and I stayed up there looking at her,
But you intentionally pushed her?
No, I didn't touch her.
No. Like she's gonna say that you pushed her.
What? Maybe.
Okay. The story's changed now. Yeah. Okay,
So anyway, it's my fault. She sacrificed so we didn't drown. But
you know, I will say, doing stuff with your spouse. We talk about our wives all the time, but doing something with your spouse, like building something with your spouse,
that'll
test your marriage, bro. This is what. So, I've done counseling in the past, marriage counseling and stuff like that, and I make a joke, but it's so true. I'm like, hey, I don't have any questions for you. Like, I don't have you don't have to prove anything to me. I just have this box sitting in front of me, and it's full of IKEA furniture. And I want you to put this IKEA furniture together with me sitting and watching. And by putting it together, there's going to be some trials, and we're going to figure this thing out. But just know, dude, some of our biggest arguments and like little fights and whatever just have come over building something or putting something together.
You know, me and my wife are weird.
Okay.
Because we get along less if we're not around each other. Like, so we've always worked together. So we met working together.
Okay.
We had a house fire, and we rebuilt from that, or kitchen fire, I should say. We rebuilt from that. We thought, well, if we do that, we can build a house. So we built a house together. We're thinking, man, if our marriage survived that, then we're good to go. But like, she took a job outside her business, basically for insurance purposes, because it's so expensive. But anyway, and it's like, I want you to just come back and work with me because, like, you know, I don't know. So we're weird. Most people are like, I can't believe you work with I don't know how y'all built a house together. I don't know how y'all work together. You know, we just always got along better doing that. So I don't know. We're different.
So you're better.
I'm not better.
You're better.
Better together. It's a song. Luke Combs. Look it up. So you went to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Went to the Ark.
Yeah. What did you do? Because you went out too. That's where it got. You know, we do have a security on our property, so you know, leaving because we have automatic feeders and stuff like that. So leaving for a trip and stuff like, if it's just a couple of days, no one has to go out there because we could check in on it. And, you know, if there is an issue when it comes to like something going on our property that isn't right, we have people that we can call. But you went out of town too. Like, and you told me a little bit of your story, and I was like, bro, like, I want to hear more, but like explain it to me on the podcast. Yeah.
So we're into horses. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
My daughter barrel races, and we got some pulling horses we're going to do carriage with and stuff. But we've never been camping and trail riding.
And this sounds like fun to me. Like when you told me what you were doing, I was like, I'm excited, but like I know what the weather's going to be. So,
you know, unfortunately, you know, we've always wanted to do it. We just never have. And we said, we're going to do it. You know, so we made these plans months ago, and we reserved a spot. And so the weather, I mean, you just got to roll with it because you've made this plan. So anyway, we load up 3 horses, 3 dogs, and as soon as we get them on a trailer, so we get them on the trailer, we run into some things. You know how it is. You're trying to leave town.
Yep.
I said, 20 more minutes, you know. My daughter give them a little grain or something because they get antsy when that trailer ain't moving. They sitting there, they get antsy. So we give them a little grain, and one of our horses choked.
Like, what does that mean? Like just hacking away.
So a horse is weird. I mean, so what they call a choke is obviously they get something lodged in their throat. But when they throw it up, it comes through their nostrils. And a lot of times they can breathe, but it's hung there. So anyway, pulled him back out of the trailer. I mean, we've had it once before. It happened. Next day, horse is fine, you know. So you just want to watch, make sure that they drink, that it's not continued to be stuck, whatever, that they can get it loose. And usually they do. So, and we contacted our vet and everything, and it's like, yeah, just watch him, blah, blah, make sure he drinks, eats. So now we're in a dilemma. Do we leave with this horse? Do we leave it here with our house sitter? Or do we take it That's another thing, by the way. When you have 20 animals on property, you gotta have a house sitter.
You know, I'm sure we've talked about this. I'm sure that there is a company out there that already does this, but like farm sitters, it's $1 million idea, bro.
Oh man,
farm sitters, like, hey, like someone that knows their way around a farm, that understands how to do things. I mean, like, there's a lot of farmers out there that don't go on vacations because they've just got too much to do.
that's right.
Farm sitters coming soon.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Anyway,
Yeah.
So we decide to take the horse. It clears itself, quit having mucus come through its nose and feed and stuff. So we think he's good. We load him up. We'll take him. We'll monitor him. We're not riding today anyway. We're just going there, setting up camp. Anyway, we get up there, and he's fine. We put him. This place has barns and stuff. It's 4 horses. It's True West in Jamestown.
Yeah.
Looks like a western city. It is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome little campground. Big South Fork, 200-something miles of horse trails through the national forest. But we get up there, take him out. Seems fine. Put him in a stall. He's drinking water. Like, man, he's good to go. We're going to ride tomorrow.
I thought the fly was going in your mouth. Oh,
He's a bad fly. He's not a bad flyer. He's good.
Bro, I just love that he's making his presence on the microphone there.
Well, so we get up there. The following day seems fine. We started to ride him. We only rode about a half mile and brought him back because he could tell he was like, he wasn't feeling it today. So I was like, okay, we'll come back. And then his condition, maybe we shouldn't have done that, but it wasn't like we're running him down. I mean, just literally a walk. Because we had been walking him on a lead because they need to move. So we do that, bring him back. There was a lady there that let Aubrey my daughter ride another horse. Her horse, she'd brought 2, and she was by herself. So we got to ride, and we came back from that ride and checked him again, and it just wasn't doing good. So we ended up hauling him to UT. Less than a 48, and I dropped him off at UT. I'm thinking, I'm dropping him off, headed back to camp. And she says, well, you just wait just a minute. We'll walk him in. We'll do some checks, and we'll sit down and talk. And I said, okay. So we go in there, and then we're in the waiting room or whatever, and 2 vets and a vet tech walks out to talk to me.
That's never good.
No, I'm like, oh. Dude walked in there. He's fine.
Yeah.
Not drooling, breathing good. Thinking, man, well, I mean, I'm not a vet, so I didn't know. But anyway, it turns out he had asphyxiated and pulled some of that feed in his lung, and one of his lungs had partially collapsed. And I mean, I'm thinking, I told her, I said, I hadn't let this go on. I mean, it's only been 48 hours.
Yeah.
From that horse choking to he's here. And you're telling me he's done, So one of those, we've talked about animals dying and things like that on this podcast. And so that was one of those rough times where you had to make that decision. I mean, there was one option.
Yeah.
You're talking about a year recovery if he makes it, and $10,000. So, or $5 to $10,000 is what they told me.
When there's an option involved, though, I mean, it's hard to make a decision because, like your situation, there's a lot of factors that go into that, and it'd be easier if they're like, yeah, there's no bounce back. Like this is what has to happen.
Yeah.
But when there's options, sometimes it makes it a little bit more difficult.
They totally said, I said, I can't, 15, 16-year-old horse, I can't do that. I mean, and they said, we don't judge you at all. In fact, this is the decision that's the decision they would have made too.
Yeah.
So they were like, he was tough. I don't even know how he walked in here. I'm thinking, man, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I was grateful that my daughter came, but also at the same time thinking, man, I wish she'd. So she was there.
Yeah.
So and she's went through that before. And when it comes to a horse, we've talked about her dog on that last podcast.
Yep.
But Buddy, when it comes to her horses,
Oh yeah.
she has a rough time. But she's tough. I mean, so that was a tough deal.
Wow.
One of the biggest things is, I don't know if I should say that on pod. I called my wife, obviously, and didn't make that decision without her on the phone, too. But we made that decision. And then we get home, and it's good that we had about a 2 hour ride back to camp, and we talked about, me and the daughter got to talk about how you feeling. You know, you had to pull that out of a
Yeah.
teenager. So everything like that. But I get back and hug my wife. She says, you know, how are you? And I said, I'm pissed off, to be honest. And she was like, about what? And I said, and I'm going to tell you this. This is, you said you've counseled people, so this is great. Because I said, I'm pissed off that this morning, me and that little girl sat over that horse and prayed over him and told we had faith. And now I had to stand there with that girl while she cried over that horse dying, you know, having to put it down. And then I was mad at myself too, though, because I was like, well, maybe I should have said, yeah, go ahead with the, you know, the treatment. And he would have been like, I don't know. So we wrestled that, but we came to it. I mean, there's some doors God's opening with that, you know, his will's always better than ours. So his will be done.
Yeah, I think when it comes to, you know, you saying you struggle with that, I'm sure a lot of people listening do struggle with, you know, I prayed for this person to be healed and they went on to be with the Lord, or I prayed about the situation and it didn't turn out how I wanted to. You could always play that game of like, oh, you know, God didn't answer my prayer. And I am a firm believer that there are situations that we do go through that make us tougher, sometimes make us wiser, that we can turn around and take what we've learned or gone through and pass it on to someone else. And I think that there are certain things. I hope someone listening isn't just applying this to something like, oh man, he's you know, but like the reality is like there's going to be a learning element. There's going to be a moment where you can speak into someone else. So yeah,
You know, I
just
think,
a little bit about that. I don't want us to just
Yeah,
look
we're not-
over that of
Well, I
what
think-
you're saying, but
I think a lot of it, actually, by the time I got back, campground already knew, because
yeah,
the campground knew. In fact, we borrowed a trailer from somebody there,
yeah,
so we didn't have to because ours is like a, you know, living quarters and got a slide out and all that. So we were going to have to take all that down and leave and come back, and they were like, no, let's see if we can find you. So they found a little 2-horse trailer so we could, you know, boogie woogie to Knoxville and get this horse there. So
boogie woogie, I don't
Boogie
want-
woogie.
boogie woogie.
It was it Daryl Waltrip says on NASCAR, boogity boogity boogity. Anyway, so it was interesting. We made a lot of friends due to that, a lot of contacts. Due to that bad event, a lot of good things came from it. We sat down as a family too, had a dinner. You know, a lot of times that's the only time you can get your teenagers to sit down, stop, and talk. But you know, my daughter always rode that horse. She's a better horse rider than I am, and that was supposed to be my horse. You know, and he bucked, and he's bucked her off, and I've seen her like in a barrel race get bucked and stay on.
Yeah.
And he managed to buck her off. So we talked about that. You know, she even said that, you know, Dad, maybe you were going to get hurt on that horse. So, you know, I don't know. Sometimes you battle with that. But anyway, made a lot of good contacts from it. So there was a lot of good come from it. But you know, we're still saddened by it. You don't want to lose an animal like that. But
No.
you live on a farm, you're gonna lose them.
There's gonna be life given and life taken.
Yeah. And you know, we actually learned from that. That's where me and you talked about this feed that somebody had mentioned there. And we won't go into great detail on it until we know if we're going to feed it to our horses and what kind of feed it is. But I can call the owner of this feed company.
Yeah.
And go from there. We're going to have a conversation with him. So, you know, who knows? May not have had that had we not had that issue. So it was a rough weekend. It was a good weekend. Had a lot of storms up there. But we had a ball. So
Yeah.
And in light of all that. So
Wow.
crazy stuff.
We were having fun, and then
I got all serious on you.
wow.
But it is what it is.
I've been hearing the story. I've been taking it in, but I've also been trying to sit as still as possible to see how many flies I can get on me. I was hoping to get like a cut, come back, and it's just like flies all over me. I'm just sitting here like That's all we have for today. And it's just all over me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
My garage isn't that nasty. I know
No.
everybody's probably like, man, what kind of dump
I want to
is
make
that?"
sure that people know this. Like, I don't live here, but like his garage isn't bad. There's obviously situations that have caused the fly situation. But welcome to the farm, right?
This rabbit, somebody needs to take it.
Oh.
He's a problem.
Well, but yeah, no. This is actually. I'll say this before we end, and that would be, I really enjoy being out there on the property.
I do too.
I love just walking out there and hearing the birds chirping, getting scared when you hear that horn of the train going by. But it's very peaceful out there, and just knowing what the property is like, how the property is going to be better off by us being on there, because you've seen it when we first got there. Goodness.
Yeah.
So when I go out there, it is time that I like to reflect and like listen, and some really cool stories that'll come out of that property. I'm looking forward to that. And
Absolutely.
So that's going to be really cool.
We're going to do a podcast out there at some point, but there's no power, so we got some issues there. But I think we'll find a way one day to do it.
We've had issues. Oh, you mean
As far
us
as
doing a
runner
property?
mics and-
Oh, yeah, bro. Everything's. I'm dying over here, bro. No. We don't need electricity to do the podcast. You're fine. That's how
Okay.
amazing you
You're
are,
awesome,
bro.
then.
No, we'll do it. We'll find a way. We'll sit in the pig pen and see how long it takes before they eat us
I'm not. No.
alive. Bro, I was out there the other day and they were eating my boot. Like actually one bit me. I was down. I was so the bottom panel of their house, they kicked it out. I just used finishing nails, so I went in and screwed it in. But one came up and bit my knee. I just took the back of my hand and
That's probably a reaction too.
My
Like,
gosh,
bam.
I went back. It was. Oh gosh. But no. Yeah, really cool stories coming out of that. But we'll do a podcast out there so people can even see the property kind of in the background and know that we're just we're not sitting here
and
faking.
guarantee you the train will go by while we're doing the podcast.
That's exactly right. But it'll be a lot of fun. Just having conversations about our weekend, but also about the property, where we are, update as well. Just like John said before, make sure you like and you subscribe and you follow all of our platforms, because free stuff, it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Get ready.
Yeah.
And if it's free, it's for me. If it's free, it's for you. That don't go as good.
No.
That's what they should say. If it's free, it's for me.
You two slew a few. There might be a few for you. There we go. There you go.
There you go. Perfect. Facebook.
Yep.
That's where you can, most of your little comments and stuff like that can go.
Yeah.
So that's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, once again, thank you for watching or listening to the Local Farmer Podcast.
Yep. Love you guys. See ya.
What was that, John? At the very end?
Cut it out.
Yeah, love you guys. We'll see you.